how do you help your clients build those systems that, that make it easier for us, right? I think that's
Mhm.
the bottom line part of this is how do we make life easier by bringing in someone like you?
Yeah, and I think there's definitely an art to it. So
Yeah, totally.
the way I've most liked doing it and why I love this like 5-day challenge so much is it really sets us up for a great like you could hand off half of your stuff, right, afterwards to someone else and have it all ready to go and have it really articulated on exactly who's doing what, who's owning what, so that you know exactly. Because when you bring someone in, it's super important to have like strong SOPs or standard operating processes to have a really clear understanding of what is your responsibility versus my responsibility, right? It's just like if I am walking away from or like handing off a kid to my husband, right? I have to make sure that there's clear communication of this is what's happening. Otherwise, your kid runs off in the opposite direction. So I have a few tools that I've built out that are really fun, and they have like your different business tools, like I mentioned, that you plug in and what's working for you, what's not.
Hello, my extraordinary women friends. This is a really special episode for me because today's guest is not only an inspiring entrepreneur who grew her business 470% this past year, but also someone I'm so proud to call my niece, Tyler Jane Jones. Watching Tyler grow and build her business, Tyler Jane & Co. has been a joy. She's a powerhouse woman who has created a business with purpose and heart, all while balancing life as a mom of two little ones, my great niece and my great nephew. Tyler started Tyler Jane Co. to help small business owners streamline their operations so they can scale and grow while keeping what matters most, like family and life balance, at the center. Her mission is to support entrepreneurs in creating more ease in their businesses by building smart, intentional systems that eliminate overwhelm. She's empowering business owners to focus on what truly lights them up, both in business and life. In today's episode, Tyler shares her journey from corporate project management to entrepreneurship, the lessons she's learned along the way, and her passion for helping entrepreneurs create flow and freedom. She's built an entire team to help support her on this. And if you're ready to streamline your business, reduce overwhelm, and build something that truly works for your life, this conversation will inspire you. Let's meet Tyler Jane Jones. Well, welcome to Extraordinary Women Radio. Tyler, I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much. This is really exciting, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's such an honor to get to tell your story, and I'm just so proud of you. So it's been really fun seeing you grow your business and all the wonderful things you're doing. I mean, you've always been an inspiration, and this is really fun seeing your business grow so quickly and so rapidly, and all the base that you've built here. So, and you've always been the one that has been like the master of details and operations. I've seen that in you for many, many years. And but I want to hear a little bit about the journey of you starting Tyler Jane and Co. And just really what was the thinking when you decided to step out from behind the corporate world and to launch, and just what this journey's been like.
Yeah, thanks. Um, so when I think back to almost 2 years ago now, which is super crazy, I was in a corporate job, like you mentioned, within health insurance. Um, but I had two very young kids, a 3 and a 1-year-old, and was spending like more than 3 grand a month on childcare, which is
Which is crazy.
any other parents listening, probably that's actually low, which is crazy to me. And I just was missing out on big things happening in my kids' lives, and I knew I didn't want my life to be that way. There was a really cool moment. I remember it's like 11 o'clock at night. I was the only one awake, and I decided to just go in and hold my daughter because I was frustrated with work and the stress levels. I was working all the time. And I was like, there's got to be something different. And I just knew I had to think creatively about it, and look at it from a different lens than what society had like told me I needed to be doing as a working
Mhm.
mom.
Yeah.
Um, and that's kind of when things started moving forward. And I put it out there in the world that I wanted to go off on my own and be a project manager. Kind of started off as like VA work. And within a week, I had a full-time client and was sad enough to go off and quit. And I told my husband that, and he was like, wait, already? Like, what are we doing? And so, but he was very supportive, obviously, and got everything up and running. And by halfway through the summer, throughout my network, I had more clients than I could support because I also had 2 young kids at home. So started talking more about that and just kind of, I'm a big external verbal processor. So I was talking with all my friends about it, and typically that was like at library story time or at the park. And a lot of the other moms I was talking with, they're like, yeah, I would totally be able to help with that. I used to work in those sort of environments. I used to be that in my professional life, and now I'm home with the kids, but groceries are expensive, right? And so that's kind of what started Tyler, Jane & Co. to build up. So I would say that was like the end of the first summer.
Mm-hmm.
And it allowed me to step into, okay, now I'm running a full business, not just independent contracting, and reaching out to new clients. And at one point in time, like, I had grown my team. I had so many people coming in. I was at like bringing in anyone I could get to kind of help support me. And it's been a lot of really phenomenal learnings too over the last now year and a half of having a team on who exactly I'm looking for, how are we going to support our clients and make it a really white glove customized experience for each one of my clients going through that whole process.
Yeah.
Um,
Because first you were just taking all the people that wanted to raise their hand and say, I want to help you. And now
yeah,
you kind of learned that you really want to be very selective in who you're bringing on.
yeah, and I mean all good learnings, right? Like, as
Yeah.
anything is as a business owner. But it definitely was a shift of, I think I up leveled the kind of support I was providing for my clients too.
Exactly.
It wasn't just
It
calendar
wasn't VA
management
level at
and
all. Yeah.
exactly. And what I loved about it is I started to dig more into, like, in my corporate job, I was a innovation project manager and business process engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would look at like big processes across multiple corporations or organizations within the company, and figure out how to make this run as smoothly as possible. And I found that a lot of our clients needed that too, right? And so I
Right.
got to dive more into building up, like, how do you look at, I grew up with my dad being a pilot, right? So I think like elevation. But how do you look at like a 3,000, 5,000 foot view on everything that you're doing and take that step back as a business owner? That's that's game changing. That allows you to
Totally.
see how much time you're spending on each one of these little tasks. And like, yes, I'm onboarding a client and I have templates, but it's still taking me 4 hours of work. What is that 4 hours of work actually costing you?
Right.
Um, and so we started to play around more with that. And that's where I've really dove into and, have a specialized team around now, is like actually building up really smooth processes for our clients so that at the end of the day, they're barely even pushing a button, if anything, to provide these white glove, customized client experiences. We have the technology for it, but
Right.
how do we now get that up and running? It's a
And not
really
have
fun
too much
playground to be in.
technology, right? Because I think I see a
Exactly.
lot of that with women entrepreneurs is they just start adding a whole lot of different products, and then it's like, how do they all connect and how do they all talk, and does it just create more work somewhere along the way, or can you
Yeah.
streamline that?
Oh, for sure. And we talk a lot about like the business tools you are using. How much are you spending on them every month? Because
Right.
that is like a sunk cost at the end of the day, regardless of how many clients you have. And then, are they
we
all
went through
integrated?
that just we went back through that in December,
Mm.
and we cut out a couple $100 a month easily.
Isn't that insane how
Yeah.
fast that adds up?
Yeah, it really does. And it's like, is you realize what level you have of a product. Do we really need this level of a product? And I mean, it was pretty eye opening when we started looking at each one of the products. Of, where are we spending our dollars on that? And it was pretty easy to drop a couple $100 off of our monthly budgets.
Yeah. And are they even talking to each other? Like, you could have
Right.
one tool set up, but it doesn't talk to any of your other tools. So now you're having to go in and manual entry in other things. Like, I
Yeah.
say the word manual entry and it literally like gives me a visceral reaction. So let's not do that. But like there's so much that we can do, and especially I think at the turn of where we are with
Mhm.
technology and like AI, every other ad is a new amazing tool that's going to be game changing for your business. And for some people, for sure, it totally will. But I am huge in life, business, everything on simplifying as much as possible. Like, if I could go back to Laura Ingle times, I probably would, but I love my computer too much. And making it where, like, okay, do we need these 5 different steps to go into here, or can it just be 2 steps and you still
Right.
get the same client experience? As a consumer, I'd prefer the latter, you know? So,
Yeah, absolutely. I love it so much. So let's talk a little bit about your team. I know at one point you were at 8 team members. What are you at
mhm.
right now?
I think I'm at 6 right now.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Does that feel
I
like a
have
good number for you?
yeah, it's been a really good sweet spot. I have some more team members who can provide a little bit more than, like, part-time, which has been really
Mm-hmm.
wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm shifting how I'm doing a little bit of my work too, where it's more, um, like I'm taking on some of those initial onboarding clients just so I can really truly learn from the whole experience with the clients and make sure I'm training my team appropriately. Um, so that's allowed me to kind of step in a little bit more and been really fun to play with. Again, it's like a
The
giant
strategic part of it, right?
sandbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and my team is built up. I have one kind of outlier on my team who's phenomenal. She's my social media gal. So she helps with a few of our clients for just social media strategy more of, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily the like day in and day out, but just making sure that everyone's set up appropriately. And then other people on my team are typically like have experience running their own businesses or being a project manager and making it where like we can take things off of your to-do list, or another analogy I use is like close out some of those tabs in your browser
Mm-hmm.
so that you know that you can hand over a whole process to one of us and it's going to be managed from start to finish. Um,
And I think that's really desirable with women entrepreneurs is that to be able to hand over a project. I have had clients say that over and over again. It's like, I don't want to do all those details. So be able to hand
mhm,
over a project, I think is a big advantage. And again, you're really bringing in higher level skill sets to be able to do that. It becomes
exactly.
much more operational versus, even executive assistant. It's that next level of,
Yeah. And I think like something I've personally experienced as a business owner and as a woman is I have the hardest time handing off even like a honey-do list to my husband, right? And so trying to hand something off that like my business is a baby of mine as well, just like my kids are, and it's hard to off or like hand that off to someone else and truly trust that they're going to take care of it and do it in the right way. But we have a team that you can trust with that, and that there's all of us supporting each other in the background, um, so that you don't have to worry about that trust. You know, it will get done to like the highest of standards at the end of the day. Um, and I think that's really important, and something that women entrepreneurs we really need to be aware of.
yeah, yeah. So when women are going through growth stages or scale stages, what are you seeing them come up against? What are some of the challenges you see happening?
I think one of the biggest things is like as you start off your business and you're bootstrapped, like you're just trying to put everything together and answer questions as they come in the door, you know?
Mhm, mhm,
Um, that transition from that stage to the like, all right, now we're growing a ton and we either need to scale and make it where things move a lot smoother, or we need to bring in a lot more people in order to support this to make it that same client experience. That's a hard transition. So it's
mhm.
almost like running from like startup to like substantial business, whether you're 6 7 figures, somewhere around there. That transition is what where I think a lot of our clients are, is like trying to figure out, okay, I'm at this place, it's working well, but it's not going to work. Like I'm going to burn myself out if I take on one more client.
Right.
Ideally, we want to get you to the place where you are taking on, say, 10 more clients and you're doing as much work as it took for you to do 5 clients initially.
Right. Because you've really
And still
streamlined that
provide
underneath of it.
exactly, and just making that really like that growth point without as many growing pains as possible. I think is the way. Yeah, just like try and make it as smooth as possible and allow you to like step into your genius too.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
aren't all meant to do every single task. I know we like to. It's fun when you're starting it up, but also there's things that I'm not good at. I'm not going to do our taxes, like
Yeah.
I focus on other things, just like
Right.
I don't change the oil in my car. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there's a balance to it. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm seeing. Yeah.
And what do you see as far as where women are getting stuck, where women entrepreneurs are getting stuck?
I think it's with like the new tools that are coming out. The
Mm-hmm.
technology is all really bright and shiny, but there's a lot that goes into it, right? And understanding even just like a breath, say like, for example, HoneyBook is something that I use. Understanding the breadth of what HoneyBook can do and making sure everything's implemented to make my life easier. If I'm already paying for it, I want to make sure that I'm using it to the highest of its ability.
That's a good one.
But it's hard to like spend the time to learn that tool as well.
Right.
So I think that's a big barrier. And I think just I don't know how to say this appropriately, but like changing into how we're doing business and what business looks like today versus
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago.
Right.
It
It's
takes a
so
lot of
different.
learning.
It's
It's
so different.
so
I mean, the
different.
pace of AI right now is just incredible. And I have lots. I believe that I'll just go to my little AI stand here
Yeah,
because I think it's important when I'm talking about AI. We have to build our brand from the inside out. We have to build our marketing from the inside out. So I always say we can't outsource our leadership of thought, and we can't AI our leadership of thought. But once we
absolutely.
have that, once we know what we stand for, then we can really start to say, okay, how can I leverage AI to help me in my marketing? And I am blown away by how, I mean, we're doing right now we're in the mix of doing a rewrite of our new website. And
Mm,
I'm super stoked about it. And it has to come from me, right? It's like I can work with what we stand for, and I have a foundation. In fact, we have a whole marketing guidebook around what is the transformation in our brand and our messaging in 2025. We've got a whole guidebook on it. And as we are rewriting our website, I know that I need to be the one that's really deep into, okay, what does it stand for? And I can
mhm.
leverage AI as my partner in the mix of all of that. And it's really powerful. I mean, what I can accomplish. I spent last Saturday really working on that, and I was amazed at how much I was able to get done in a day because of AI.
Mhm.
But it was my partner, and I was like, it was iteration after iteration after iteration, and it had to be my voice that was coming to life, right? And
Exactly.
that's just one of those things. It's like I love AI, and that's moving at the pace of it's so amazing how fast that's moving. And
Yeah.
so things are definitely going to, and that's one of the things where it's really easy to say, okay, need that AI tool and that AI tool and that AI tool, and it could become very, again, complicated. Or you can simplify and say, where this is where I want to stay with that.
Yeah. And making it sound like an actual human is talking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
It's this, that's,
it,
that's, I tell my AI, I tell ChatGPT all the time, that sounds like AI. You can't use that phrase.
mhm. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
even found a tool that is like only for like women business owners, and it's
Uh-huh.
kind of using different types of AI, but the questions and like what it pops out, I'm like, oh, this is like I can't use it for everything, but it helps me really make sure that it's still coming from like actually my voice.
Right.
And a big thing I do a lot for our clients is like, especially with their client engagement or client
Mm-hmm.
interaction, is instead of having like an automated email, as much as I love an automated email and as long as it works, that's great. But a lot of times, especially like with nurturing new clients, you need it to be as personalized as possible. And so making it not be an automated email to the client, but maybe an
Yeah.
automated reminder email to you to make sure you don't drop the ball on anything.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a really great one. And then you take the time and the moment to do that.
Hmm.
I like that a lot. And it's not to say that I can't turn over my content creation to someone else, because I do, but I
Yeah.
have to get that core base like really solid. And my words have to come from me, and then those words can be repurposed and releveraged using, that somebody else can take those words and work that. What are your favorite AI tools right now?
I still am using a lot of ChatGPT. I think there's a ton of opportunity there and it's getting really strong. I use, the thing I use, I feel like the most is within like even just Canva or like Google and their
Mm-hmm.
Google suite, using the like recommended, like it just makes my, like even sending out an email so much faster. If someone, like as I'm typing, it's recommending what I'm going to say next
Oh, right.
and you just
Mm-hmm.
press tab as it goes through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then that AI growth suite that I mentioned earlier, um, I'm partnered with a woman. We're doing a 5-day challenge, all about like streamlining to scale and getting everything moving forward. And I have AI, um, like systems where you kind of plug in what tools you're using and it will tell you like what can work well together, what could not work, or where there's areas of opportunity. Anyways, she's created this AI growth suite that's really fun to play with.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've
that,
seen you shared that with me. I remember that now.
yeah, yeah. And it helps create, even just like put out into a really usable content that you can plug even into like ChatGPT, your entire brand image, a great like what's a realistic content strategy. Um, so that's been really fun to play with and helping me better articulate what my brand vision is and what my ideal client looks like and all of those different details.
Yeah.
So that's been fun to
Yeah.
play with.
It definitely is fun. I enjoy it a lot. So you've mentioned that entrepreneurs, that we just can't do it all alone, right? And I agree wholeheartedly. I've had help in my business from the very beginning of my business, and I think that's really, really important. How do you help your clients build those systems that